into a P. Diddy party.
Yeah, except many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through, like, what goes on, like, when you were there?
Money
Right.
and sex.
Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No.
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come in what they call freak-offs now,
Yeah.
is that something normal that happens in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Freak-offs.
Yeah. Everybody know that. I've been saying it.
So why does Puffy, why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup? Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Jaguar Wright has made a shocking discovery that could alter the direction of this trial. She revealed that Diddy's white parties were purportedly merely fronts for a trafficking front and prostitution ring.
People like me step in. To walk motherfuckers out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna fucking help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels? When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Never. Not in entertainment.
Tupac. Remember that one?
He was the only one.
Yeah.
You saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
No, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case.
She continued by discussing how she knew the experiences of several ladies she had saved from similar freak.
We got awards and everything. Rico Love's nominated for an award. The boy Sweetie Rose is nominated. Fabulous is nominated for an award. Drake is nominated. Devon Stevens is nominated. Yeah. Polo the Dog is nominated. Chris Brown is nominated.
Stars used to vie for invitations to Diddy's renowned white parties, which were once the most sought-after events in town. Stars would arrive wearing all white, sipping champagne, and having a good time.
She was drugged and assaulted at one of Diddy's parties in 2006. And LaToya joins us live now. This is her first time speaking out since filing this lawsuit just today. We're also joined by her attorney, Ariel Mitchell. I appreciate both of you ladies being with us on a Friday night. LaToya, I want to start with you. Walk us through what happened. I know that your sibling won a contest to go to a Diddy party. You flew out to New York. What happened from there, LaToya?
Well, pretty much everything that happened is in the lawsuit. So I would encourage any and everyone that would like to know the information to read it.
Yeah, I understand. And we've looked at the lawsuit today. I just wanted to hear from you what happened. I mean, because I can imagine you guys won the tickets to go, which must have been pretty exciting. You were in Oklahoma, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you flew to New York. Was it with your sister?
Yes, sir.
And were you excited? I mean, what were you thinking it was going to be like?
Fun, hanging out, the normal parties, getting to take some pictures with some celebrities.
Yeah, I would imagine getting to go to a Diddy party. I mean, now we know that, what was really going on allegedly, but I'd imagine at the time that would have been exciting to win that. Maybe you can explain what you are alleging in the lawsuit.
So essentially, it's pretty easy facts. There was a nationwide contest that was promoted where you called in and won an all expenses trip paid to New York. which for anybody, a free trip to New York, even in today's time, will be a great value, a great trip. And then on top of that, the trip, you got to go to a P. Diddy party. So calling a radio station, I'll call the radio station to win tickets. Not a great prize like you would think she won back then. And this was, back in 2006, during the height of Diddy's career, during the height of Bad Boy Entertainment and the white parties. So that was part of the enticement, was to bring people who knew about these parties, who desired to go there, which is why it was such a successful contest. She went to the party, there was transportation that was arranged, hotels that were arranged, everything was all paid for, even transportation to the party. What I found to be concerning was that there was transportation to the party, but not from the party. And then at the party, Ms. Grayson alleges that, as you see in the lawsuit, and I want to start encouraging people to go read these lawsuits instead of hearing these sound bites that they see in the news or on social media, because before you go and start to make an opinion, you should go read these lawsuits. They are there, they are free, they are public record. But essentially, she was drugged. She woke up and was in the hospital. Her next memory was being in the hospital. After finally returning back to the hotel, she had to leave shortly thereafter to go back to Oklahoma. And then the next day, she received a call from an unidentified woman telling her that she shouldn't pursue anything against Diddy.
However, many of those same celebrities are now subtly retreating. The cause of an increasing number of lawsuits involving smaller private parties that some refer to as freak-offs, in which women claim they were drugged and coerced into having sex with several people, although most claim that there was no such abuse within the white parties itself.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was famous for holding his annual 4th of July party in the Hamptons. All of the well-known partygoers wore white, and it wasn't exactly a family-friendly event. Now imagine you're a 6-year-old kid and you find yourself a guest there. Allison Hall has more.
Can you believe this 6-year-old boy was once a guest at Diddy's infamous white party? The disgraced mogul has his arm draped around a young Justin Liptowski back in 1999. Justin is now 31 and tells Inside Edition about taking that photo.
He put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way, close to areas that you shouldn't as a grown man.
He recalls what he saw at the party.
So I remember marijuana and topless women. That's the two main things that I remember.
So how'd he end up there? Well, his father, David Allen, was Diddy's photographer, snapping pictures of partygoers in the Hamptons. Justin's mom, Maya, was also there. She says the party was family-friendly at first, but then turned raunchy.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy implemented a curfew for children.
The kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable. If this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to.
I think he's a monster.
This week, Houston-based lawyer Tony Busby says more than 120 people are coming forward with claims Diddy sexually abused them.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Did Diddy assault you in any way?
When you say assault, I don't know the exact definition.
It is said that children attended these gatherings as well.
A music studio.
Damn.
Like every other industry porn. First time I saw Paris Hilton's tape, A Night in Paris, was in the studio. The first time I saw Mary J. Blige being gang raped on camera at Death Row after hours was in the studio. Why would all of this illicit be in a place where music is supposed to be being created, energy? Why would all of that be happening? Why would these things be hitting there before they make it out there to the world? If it wasn't working hand in hand to begin with.
Now, there's a viral video going around where Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are sitting there, and they were on TRL.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Dre's like, hey,
I don't know why ain't nobody talking about when Carson Daly went to them Diddy parties. Because Carson Daly did go to them Diddy parties. No different than Ashton Kutcher.
Damn. Okay.
No different than Hype Williams. Why don't nobody want to talk about Hype Williams? Usually if I send a shout out to somebody, people start really kicking things up. But it's almost as if Hype is like living under some wheat germ grass or some under Russell Simmons' ass in Bali. Why can't, is it time to put Hype Williams on a milk cart?
Melissa Ford just did an interview talking about how Hype Williams brought her out. Now, mind you, she's a video vixen, and it seems like the girls that used to be part of the music videos have stories to tell.
They should.
And
They're all sex workers. And if they weren't, they felt like it when they went home. I don't think you'll ever hear about a woman saying that she was assaulted. His thing was turning straight men gay. That was his thing.
Everything has begun to fall apart since Diddy's arrest in September of last year. The number of lawsuits has been increasing. Over 60 claims of sexual assault have been made, with some victims being as young as 10. Reporters attempted to question Diddy's attorneys about any link between these allegations and the white parties, but they did not reply. Some of the reported instances even occurred as recently as 2024. Diddy used to be the master of throwing parties. Diddy always found a cause to celebrate, whether it was his birthday on November 4th, the after party for the music awards, or even a charity event. However, the white parties were something else entirely. Everyone who was anybody showed up. DiCaprio, Leonardo, Michael Jackson, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and numerous others glitz and excess champagne, such as Crystal and Veuve Cleo, were abundant at the events. And the food was just as ostentatious as the guest list. Sushi was served on a nude woman's body for a year. Fire was blasted from between the legs of go-go dancers at another gathering. On the surface, individuals had a great time, ended up in pools, lost their clothes, and had a great time. Now it appears that all of those people are on cassettes that are being sold on the dark web.
Bullying is one thing. This nigga is sick.
I don't know.
We're just talking about
I don't know what that is.
assault. Somebody was just telling a story the other day. Said they went to a Diddy party and they ended up getting drugged. And when they woke up, they seen him. He was going in on somebody else. And they was like, oh my God, what are you doing? He was like, this was you last night.
Yeah.
Who's...
So, let me ask you a question. This is just for
You just running around drugging people, socking them in the jaw and popping them in their ass. Like, what is going on?
Damn, combo breaker. Yeah, let me ask you the mentality, and I just want your psychology behind it. When we talked last time on the virtual, you mentioned who's on tapes and who got tapes out.
Yeah.
The purpose of having a recorded freak off.
Yeah.
What does that do for the male? What does that do for the female? Like, I mean, some females are cool with it. What is the thought behind that as far as let's record this session and either rewatch, keep it for sale? Is it evidence? Is it just like what is the mentality behind having
if you can
the
own
visual
someone's
memory
sexuality, their vulnerability, if you can own that, you have the ability to control and manipulate that person. See, guys start off by saying, ooh, you sexy, man, I don't want to watch porn, I just want to watch us. See, that's the line.
That's the line.
Wouldn't you rather me be watching us than watching a bunch of other? See, the finesse, that fluff. You so sexy. Do you really want me watching anybody else but you? I could look at you all day. Vanity. See, make her feel special. Make her feel like she's the only, ooh, the object. Meanwhile, this nigga is sitting here thinking, so her daddy works at Sony and I need such and such's contract ended.
Does it also work this way for men?
Absolutely. And it's worse for the men. Women are used to being the victims of sexual, not men. No man walks in thinking that another man is looking at him like a lollipop. Not a straight man. You are only hip to the that you hip to. You know what I mean? Which is why you hear so many people say they went to Diddy parties and they felt like something was off and decided to leave, or they got invited to another room and they decided to go because they felt.
Diddy had a rule everyone had to wear white. He once made a guest take off his red sneakers just to stick to the dress code. He said it was to keep everyone on the same level, like a school uniform, but it also helped him stand out, especially as a black man throwing high-profile parties in the mostly white Hamptons. Jaguar Wright says she's been to Diddy's parties and saw how they really go down. According to her, she didn't just show up to party, she went in the hopes of assisting anyone who might have been in danger. Wright was unreserved in her criticism of Diddy's general role in the music industry, accusing influential people like Lucian Grange and Clive Davis of shielding him and calling him a destructive influence for 30 years. She thinks Diddy's ascent is really a component of a larger framework designed to dominate and take advantage of the culture.
Can't tell you who done it. I can tell you who wanted it. And it will most definitely be Clive Davis.
So you think Clive is looking for it?
Oh, I know he's looking for it. I know he's worried about it. And he should be.
Why?
He should be very worried about it.
Why?
Because I know things about him he don't want nobody to know. I know things he done. And it's hurt people that I love.
Like what?
What I will say is this. When you're the kind of manager that would pay your client to be quiet about a rate to save a tour, and then nuke their career, tell everyone that they're crazy, and ostracize them because they disagreed with being quiet about it. When you're that kind of person that employs the same group of drug dealers that you've been working with for the past 25 years, and out of nowhere, people just keep dying of drug overdoses. It kind of pisses me off that all of these artists have died from drug overdoses and nobody really bothered to take the time to look at the toxicology reports. See, all rock stars are drug addicts and alcoholics anyway, so why bother to do an extensive check? Easiest way to get rid of a difficult artist is a drug overdose. Because everyone will believe that they killed themselves.
So who did Clive Davis kill?
Oh, I can't tell you who he killed. I can tell you who he worked with that ended up dead.
Who? Besides Whitney?
Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Janis Joplin.
So you know for sure that Clive Davis killed Whitney.
I didn't say I knew anything for sure. Okay. What I am saying is that the same drug dealer that has showed up to service a lot of these entertainers that have died have very close ties to Clive Davis, and everyone knows it. He's always hanging out at the Ivy. He has a bad diet, drinks too much.
What's his name?
Everybody. I don't know.
You don't know his name?
I was drunk. I've seen him around. If you understand.
Now, being that you have had such a traumatic life,
if anyone's gonna know about Diddy's secrets, it's going to be this guy who was his bodyguard in the 90s, and he actually exposes a lot about Diddy.
A lot of people believed that, Usher was groomed by Diddy.
He wasn't only groomed by Diddy, he was groomed by L.A. Reid, the rest of them too, man. Because they knew what happened. Then they came out and brought him back, and all of a sudden, he's getting all the great tracks. He's getting all the songs. They making him into this star, even though he may have been abused.
He knew that Diddy was involved with other men, and he also witnessed the weird things going on in his house with young boys such as Usher. He claims that everything Diddy was doing to young boys actually happened to him by his mentor named Clive Davis. This man introduced Diddy to the music industry, and he actually came out as bisexual recently,
And it's been said, allegedly, that he forced Diddy to do certain things with him in order for Diddy to start his career. He basically gave Diddy the opportunity to start Bad Boy Records, and if it wasn't for him, then...
Oddly enough, shortly after the action against Diddy was filed, Lucian Granger's name was removed from all lawsuits. Many believe the CEO distanced himself from the entire situation by using his connections and influence.
Tyrone Blackburn dropped them from the lawsuit with prejudice after the attorneys for Universal Music Group and Lucian Grange said that the accusations were so offensively false that they plan to seek legal penalties directly against the lawyer Tyrone Blackburn and not even the accuser. And Little Rod alleged in this lawsuit that Lucian Grange sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Diddy's home in Los Angeles, California. And he alleged that these parties were sponsored by Universal Music Group and the defendants, and as evidence above, these parties had sex workers and underage girls present. And he went on to say, as a sponsor of these events, defendant Lucian Grange had a duty and an obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present at these parties. And he also alleged how Lucian Grange would have known that Diddy was spiking these drinks. And in my opinion, this is sad to see because it's not like it's the lawyer's fault. This is coming from the accuser saying that these are things that he witnessed. So it's crazy to me that these lawyers for Universal Music Group and Lucian Grange were going to go after Tyrone Blackburn for what he put in the lawsuit. And I feel like the only reason that Tyrone Blackburn dropped them from this lawsuit is because he knows how good of attorneys these actually are, and they're backed by Universal Music Group and Lucian Grange, so there's some big money behind them. When Billboard reached out to Blackburn, he declined to answer specific questions about what led him to drop the case. I would strongly advise you not to reach out to me for any comment on any case that I have. I have no respect for you as a journalist. You are a mouthpiece for Diddy's attorney, Sean Hawley, and Universal Music Group. You should reach out to them for a comment.
She says, this oppressive system has harmed our culture and society for far too long. It's time to stop enabling people like Diddy. She is advocating for significant changes in the music industry. And as a result, the trial is getting really heated because the judge recently threatened to expel Diddy from the courtroom for allegedly attempting to intimidate the jury.